That's off of the box score. But if you watch that game, someone like Anthony Edwards ate his lunch.
Actually, it wasn't even Ant that beat us yesterday.
It was, I know, but
it was the
I'm
niggas
saying,
that I was. Hold on, was I telling
Reed,
you that? Yeah, because I was telling somebody like, bro, they was talking like there was nobody else over there that can get buckets and will be a problem. I said Naz Reid off the back is gonna be one of them niggas that we don't have an answer for.
Oh yeah, no, that we was talking about that. Naz Reid, and then who's
now Jaden McDaniels? I didn't foresee that. He not gonna. That's his best game of the series. Maybe the playoffs.
Yeah, he not gonna do that.
No, he not gonna do that.
But it's I need to get more Luka hate off. Like, because I'm just getting. I need to get more Luka hate off. This is
Luka hate. Now hold on, what you mean by that?
Because I'm tired of this. I do not like him. I'm sick and tired of the way that people have crowned this
media
dude.
Coverage and all that, like fans. He only finna go up. Luka is only finna explode even more. Pause. Like he's only going to go up.
No, the only thing that's going up is the scale.
The scale what?
The only thing, he's fat.
You tripping, bro? Come on.
He's fat.
This nigga tripping, bro.
You tell me a fat guard who's been able to succeed in the league. You can be a big man. No, you can't compare.
Remember, that's what I used to talk to you about.
On the defense. No,
Luka Doncic. Hold on. We know, bro. We was looking at that game the other night, and that boy Harden couldn't play a lick of D.
No, he's not. No. Pause. That's crazy. No. A lick of D. That's insane. That was
crazy.
insane.
That was pause word. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Lick of D.
Go ahead. I know. I couldn't even let that slide.
Hey, bro, I'm saying, dog, James Harden was successful enough to be in the conference finals, and his game, bro, we just got done saying how
this bad. James Harden was not this bad on the defensive side of the floor. If you watch those games,
bro, if you talk to people that watch basketball, Luka Doncic and James Harden are in similar realms of where we put them on the defensive liability, bro. They're in similar realms. Yes.
No, they weren't. And no, they're not. They're actually not. And I'm gonna tell you why. Bro, who held Kobe in the 2013 playoffs? Who? You remind me who held Kobe in the 2013 playoffs?
What you mean? Who helped him? The year he went out and tore his Achilles? He didn't even play.
No. Then it was the 2012 playoffs. Whenever OKC played against the Lakers in the playoffs, it was James Harden who was holding Kobe.
I mean, and that's
James
what I'm
Harden
saying.
was a bona fide
defender.
Hold
on. You're talking about
Luka
James.
Could never do that.
Hold on.
No.
You're talking about James Harden that was in OKC. He was a star in his role. I'm talking about the James Harden that became a superstar that dribbled the ball until the air was out. That James Harden is this Luka Doncic. That's what I'm saying.
Not. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm explaining to you why.
Bro,
the difference
you know how hard it is, bro. You know how hard it is to play defense when your ball usage is as high as James Harden was in Houston. He was not being. He wasn't giving effort no more.
I agree. Same thing for LeBron. Same thing. Whenever LeBron was on the Cavs, he had to change his playing style because you have to understand you can't exert that much energy on both sides of the court. And the difference is, and this is the point that I'm trying to make with Luka, is even if Luka tries, he can't play defense. That is what I'm trying to say. When James Harden tried, because the difference was, if it was clutch time, James Harden would lock up. He would play good. He would move his feet. Luka cannot do that. It is literally, he's incapable of it. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, he literally cannot play defense. Come on, bro.
The margins of what you're saying between those players are very minimal, though. Like, as far as like
it's not in my
as far as their defensive contributions to me, bro. What I mean, let me explain how I'm looking at it. Like, their identity on the defensive end, right, were really similar. Like, they were guys where the team would say, "Let me get a switch with him on me." That's what I'm saying.
No.
With Harden. Was special. Steph. They love Steph Curry on the switch. Oh my God, give me Steph. Yeah. I mean, niggas like, bro, niggas. That
what are they doing?
Huh?
No. I hear what you're saying, but let's talk about this a little bit more in depth. When they get a switch on Steph, what are they trying to do versus when they get a switch on
They going to the
Luka?
paint. They going to the paint on him.
On who?
On Steph Curry. They taking him to the hole.
Now, what are they doing with Luka?
Basically anything they want, bro.
Okay, and that's my point. And that's my
I'm
point.
just,
You're proving my point.
But do you see what I'm saying? Like how opponents look for them, scout them out in the defense and say, let's get him on the switch. That's all I'm saying. From a surface level. If you want to get into the weeds and the differences as to what it is a bit different now, I'll give you that.
That's what I'm trying to point out. It's still, I get that they were the worst defenders on their team.
Yes,
I'm not disagreeing with that. But I'm trying to say the level of bad for Luka is significantly higher because it's not like because with Steph, it was okay, he's smaller than me. I'm gonna take him to the post. With Luka, he literally can't guard me. Like it, bro, 1 through 5, the whole team is eating off of him. The whole team. Like it's bro, like we've never, bro, in my years of watching basketball, I've never seen a number one option get picked on the way that Luka has gotten picked on the defensive side of the floor. Like this is not normal, bro. Like we talking about the bona fide number one superstar of your team is this bad as it. Come on, bro. Word, you've never seen this happen. You've never seen this happen.
It's been cases like that, bro. I'm just saying it's been cases where the number one reliabilities on that defensive side. And
not like this.
And if it led to a certain height of success, we made it okay for just like Steph in 2015. I'm just saying. So if he wins a chip like this, like basically what you said, if you continue to hate, it's only gonna look like racism.
He not gonna win. I'm telling you, he literally cannot win a chip like this. He literally cannot. Him and Steph are different. Because
you know what? You know what Kobe said about Harden gameplay too, right? And it's been true up until
and I agreed with it. That's what, and I always said this. I love Harden because he played for my city. You know what I mean? He put on for my city, so I'm gonna have to show love. But his style of play, I knew it was never gonna win a championship.
Yeah,
it just couldn't. That style of play, and that's what I'm saying. That's a problem with Luka. Is he's too great. His biggest issue is he's too great because he's not gonna be willing to change. He need to be 220, 200. When you watch someone like Ant, that's why Ant can go on both sides of the ball. Luka could never do that. They're going to let Luka get his 40. They're going to let him get his 40. But come on, bro. Let's talk about the Rockets.
But we didn't even talk about Brian. Brian historically loses a lot of game ones, even when he's the favorite. Like he wasn't really what we expected in that game. And that nigga was there 3 hours early before the game, did his whole routine. I mean, we can't just throw it all on that nigga, though. We still got a LeBron that we got to look at and analyze and criticize as well.
Nah, I already said this. Braun is without fault.
Because you a
Braun without fault at this point. Yeah, he without fault, bro. He's 40 years old, bro. He's 40 years old. This don't matter. The only thing
is he our second star? Is he still a star?
Bro,
he ain't washed. There's expectations still with him. You know why? Because if a nigga like Steph Curry right now go and get another ring, bro, it's going to be a lot of conversation that happen around that. 5 rings in LeBron era and you end up with more than him? Come on now. He got still something to prove out here. 40 or not.
And let me say this. This is something I was thinking about the other day. I think this is where I have problems with most basketball fans.
What's that?
I'm not viewing players' greatness solely off of the story. I'm viewing it off of a real deep hoop knowledge fan. If I'm watching that player play, who was the best? Who was the best?
Yeah, we still saying no, he the best. I'm saying
no.
The conversation I'm having right now, you tried to belittle or diminish or dismiss the idea of LeBron still having a certain expectation that we hold him to in his career right now. Like he's still playing. If he's still playing relevant ball on a contender that can run for a championship, he still wasn't, and he's still who he is. He's still LeBron. Then yeah, there's going to be some responsibility he's going to hold in these L's.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time though, I still feel like
that's the first year Luka is there, bro. It ain't like honestly, I didn't have Luka or my Lakers expecting to go get a chip this year. Like that's a huge switch. Huge.
Yeah, I know. But the fact that I'm trying to get at is, I still feel like there has to be, it's weighted. It's weighted differently. Now, if this is him back in 2015 when he was with the Cavs, you
Uh-huh.
have to weight that differently, bro. We're talking about he's on the back half of his career. He's 40 years old. Like, he's the second option on this team. It's not the same. Like, now if
Go ahead.
now in the situation where, if let's say Braun just carried a team, you know what I mean? Like, he kind of take the reins, which someone was actually talking about that, or they were talking about this on Nightcap, where early in the game, Luka went like, you know how Braun likes to defer to other players to allow them to get into their rhythm early in the
Yeah.
game, and Luka went crazy in the first half. I feel like this. I feel like this next game, Braun need to take the reins and say, "Let me go." But the problem with that is, if Luka's not giving you 40, then what else is he doing? He not gonna give you anything on the defensive side of the ball. Like, what else?
Luka's still a playmaker, and he's still gonna give you about 10 rebounds on a good night. Like, this dude fills up the stat sheet. He not like, what do you mean? Like, this nigga, you know what his stats are, right? This nigga like a walking
Yeah,
28, 9, and 9 for his career almost, bro. He's
it's
very Brown
it's
like when
literally,
you look at his numbers.
no, I know, but it's not the same. That's the problem. This is what I'm saying. We
If
can't
you
just
th-
talk
if you're
about
trying to
box score.
if you're
We
trying
can't just. It's
to
the way the game flows.
if you're trying
Because when
to
somebody like that is pounding the ball that much, they got to have that many assists. They have, like, it's not, bro. His rebounds aren't the same as Russell Westbrook's rebounds. You see what I'm trying to
I'm
say?
saying, bro,
It's a different. It's a
you're trying
different
to
type
make a
of.
point to where if Luka isn't scoring, then he's pretty much irrelevant on the court. That's not going to be true.
Okay, let me say
You
this:
know why?
if the ball is not in
I've
his
seen,
hands, if the
like,
ball
bro,
is not in his hands,
I'm saying this though, bro.
that
Luka still, because he draws so many defenders and attention, like even on an off night. That's why he can by default garner 9 to 10 assists a night just by him being on the court. Even if he on an off night, you always worried if he see one go through, you may see the next 9 out of 10 go through. That's what he brings to a team. You fear that. You gotta, if you know ball, you know that. Like, I don't care how off of a night a shooter having. You ain't just doing this to him. Cause you could do
okay,
that to Russ. You could do that to
okay.
Russ on a good night. You may just throw a hand at him if you're on a 3-point. Oh, Luka, you're not doing that. I don't care if you 1 or 10. You still gonna get out there and put that hand up. That's what he
I'm
gonna
asking you a
bring,
question.
bro.
I want to ask you a question.
What's that?
Has Luka got any better to you? Has he
Yes,
improved as
I
a
would
player?
say he's gotten better. Yeah, I would say
When?
he's gotten better
When?
in the playoffs. Do you know his stats? He elevates his game. This dude is the second, bro. He has the second points per game average ever, only behind Jordan. He elevates. This nigga averaging about 30 a night in the playoffs. He gets better in the playoffs. He's the opposite of Harden. That's why he able to lead a team to the championship. Come on.
Well,
You're talking about Luka like he goes out in the second round like SGA, the quote
no,
unquote
no, no.
MVP. Come on
Okay,
now,
no,
bro.
no,
I'm trying to
no, no,
understand
no,
what
no.
you're making here.
Okay, no, I know. We gonna have this conversation. So that's what I'm trying to say. So what happened with Jordan whenever he started winning championships? What did he do? He scored less. He started to score less.
He just started to incorporate his team a bit. Same thing with Kobe on his last 2 chips. He had to learn that. He's only
Okay,
25 right now, 26. Like, give him
and
some
this is
time.
what we always.
We try to
Okay,
rush the I don't understand
no.
that. We
No,
try
no, no,
to
no,
put
no.
like,
I'm trying to have the conversation. What about, okay? But you look at somebody like Ant. Whenever I watch somebody like Ant, I see a player who has made the correct adjustments to their game to make them a better holistic player. Someone
you're
like
bringing up
Luka,
inferior
all he
players.
does,
They're
he's not.
inferior. Do you
He's
know who
not.
stirred
He's not
down the
inferior
gun?
to him.
Do you
He's
know who
not
stirred
inferior
down
to
the
Ant.
gun barrel of them niggas last year in the conference finals and
You
eliminated
tripping,
them,
bro.
right?
And Ant didn't forget that. You see the way he been attacking him this whole series.
But
He didn't
what you
forget that.
talking?
He didn't
Bro,
forget
it's
that.
game 1, dog. Oh, you putting money? All right, let me ask you this. Are you putting money on Minnesota and Edwards to come out the first round against us right now? Because the other day you wasn't talking like this. You only seen game 1. Now you got a different tone in your voice.
But no. What that got to do with the conversation we having?
Because you talking about him as if he's superior than Luka, as if he's eliminated him.
He
None
is.
of these
He
things
is.
are happening.
He is. He
He's
is. So
not.
why did
If you ask
so why did
30
Dallas-
teams in the
why did
NBA right
Dallas-
now, if you ask 30 teams in the NBA right now, who would you rather start with your franchise, either Luka or AE? They're going to say
Oh.
Luka easily.
No, they're all gonna.
No, they're
Anthony
not,
Edwards
bro.
did not get traded. Anthony Edwards did not get traded. We're forgetting that Luka Doncic got traded for a reason. Are we smoking crack?
There were non-basketball reasons. Non-basketball reasons. Everybody, and you know what they say right now? It was the worst trade in NBA history. You wouldn't do
but it's
that.
been like 4 months. Look,
You wouldn't do that. I know you wouldn't. Because you know
No, I
basketball. Nico Harrison, these
wouldn't.
niggas are just niggas in suits that don't know nothing and hold vendettas for
Man, you
vendettas for
tripping, bro.
non-basketball reasonings.
you're tripping.
Nobody's doing
Now-
it, bro.
Now,
You're
now ask
arguing
me
it.
this.
Bro, your points
no.
are a minority. Nobody
Sit
agrees
here
with
and-
that.
That's cool, and they don't got to. They don't got to. I'm gonna stand on what I'm saying. Tell
And
me
it's
this
gonna
right
come
now.
back
You
and
was
haunt you, bro.
you would start a franchise with Luka before you would start a franchise with Anthony Edwards.
No question.
You're smoking crack cocaine.
Are you
You're
crazy?
smoking crack cocaine.
Are you
no, I'm
crazy?
sober in mind. You're smoking
Please
crack
give me
cocaine.
reasons as to why that you're saying Anthony Edwards would be the guy you would pick over. Please
Because
give me
he's
something
the
that he's done that give me anything.
He's his style of play. One is more conducive with other players, which is very important.
He's not a
Which is very
playmaker.
No,
Bro, Anthony
he's
Edwards is not-
His
but I'm
style of
saying,
play is conducive.
he has to be-
is more
bro,
conducive for other players.
Bro, because he knows his role. He can't really carry, though. He doesn't carry a whole squad. We haven't seen it. I don't even believe I said the same thing about SGA. These dudes are pretty much one-dimensional on the offensive side of the basketball. They can play defense, but they can't carry like Luka. Their impact and the magnitude that they contribute to a team is not Luka-esque. Luka-esque is like Bron-esque. We've seen it. He's the only other player in the league right now that I see
You're
that is
better off
remotely
comparing
close to
him to James
impacting
Harden.
teams. Huh?
You're better off comparing him to James Harden than LeBron.
He's not,
James.
bro. He's a better James Harden, bro.
No,
James
his
Harden
style
ain't
of
this.
game.
James Harden at
No, no.
26 was not, bro. James Harden only started to peak, bro, once he got to like second, third season in Houston. What was he in the league for at that time?
Probably like 4 or 5 years in the league.
Second, third year in Houston, he was only in the league for 4 years.
I'm sure.
Because he played a couple seasons with. He played a couple seasons with
He
OKC.
played about 4 or 5 years in OKC.
Yeah, so he had to be like 6 or 7 in Houston by the time it was the second, third year in Houston.
Yeah, so he peaked around year 10.
Right, and this dude Luka ain't
But it was a
bro. He
different
got about
NBA.
He got about 4-3 years to get your team, bro. We
Okay,
know he.
Okay,
Go ahead.
and I'm asking you, what is it that Luka is going to do differently to elevate his game? He's going to score more. He can't score more. He can't.
Nah, Luka,
he can't assist more.
He has to be
He
more.
can't
Luka has to be more. I'll tell you the places where he needs to grow more. He has to be more efficient. He had his body. He has similar problems like Zion. He has to get his body in better condition, and he has to actually commit to playing better defense. Outside of that, offensively, he really doesn't have any deficiencies or gaps in his game, bro. He can do everything on the offensive side.
Cool.
His
Now-
main lacking is defense and being a little bit more efficient. That's it.
Okay. Now, word. Tell
He's
me.
clutch.
Tell me when we,
You talking about clutch? Hey, he ain't clutch at all. If you gonna look at AE stats in the clutch, he ain't got a clutch gene in his body. That nigga like 0 of 10 in crunch time go ahead buckets. He has 0 go ahead buckets. He don't come up big in the crunch time. He don't. Luka is made in the crunch time.
No, I agree. He does very well in the crunch time. But I'm gonna ask you this. Once again, the individual we're talking about right now is a bona fide superstar player, and we're talking about weight and conditioning being an issue.
Yeah.
That is not normal. That is not normal. If
That was conversations with James Harden. Dog, your main dude had all these same criticisms, bro. That literally was the same thing for this nigga. He was getting MVP. This nigga carried the team to the championship. That hold more weight. That holds more weight because that regular season stuff don't equal to what the playoffs is. I give more onus to somebody that shows up big on the biggest stages. That's why I go to bat. That's why I go to bat so much for Jimmy Butler, bro. That's why I go to bat so.
He never played nobody like James Harden did. He never
What are
played
you
nobody
talking
like James
about,
Harden.
bro? You just
Harden
amped
played
up.
against-
Hold on.
James-
You just amped
James
up
Harden
Anthony
played against
Edwards,
the
bro,
Warriors.
like he was the face and he's the number one over Luka, and now you saying he ain't playing against nobody. Like you can't use a point when it's convenient and then take away from it when it's not.
No, 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 no. When you bring up James Harden, I'm just saying Luka never played anybody like James Harden did whenever James Harden was playing. James Harden was going against the greatest team that was ever assembled and took them to 7 games, something that LeBron James wasn't even able to do. So don't try to make it seem.
That's only 1 year you're talking about. All them years in Houston, he never got to the finals, bro. He didn't play. He didn't play the Warriors every year, bro. What are you talking about?
He was losing. Majority of the time, he was losing to the Warriors. When he was at his peak, he was losing to the Warriors or the Spurs, who would then go on.
He didn't, bro. You know why he did it? Nigga, Dame Lillard stared down a barrel and cooked that nigga. Dame Lillard, and he had less. Don't just talk about them. No, bro. Because you have revisited. You haven't lost. That's not the greatest team. That's not the greatest team assembled in history.
Wasn't missing.
Bro, he was missing. Dame Lillard and them niggas was not no greatest team in the history like you capping for. All these teams that James Harden lost to was not the Golden State Warriors. So I got to make you remember because you don't like to remember these things that don't serve you.
No, but that's not even my point. I said whenever James Harden was at his peak.
He was in Houston and he was playing at an MVP level. That's Houston.
Not when they lost to the Blazers. He was not playing at an MVP level.
Yeah, so what was his stats? What was his stats?
He was playing the 2-guard position at the time.
What was his stats?
He had the ball in his hand.
What was his stats?
What are you talking about?
What was his stats?
Bro,
was he not an all-star that year? Was he not an all-star? Why are we only look, bro? Dame Lillard wasn't at his peak. You're trying to make your points are trying to fix your narrative to only serve you. He was in Houston. Hold on, let me get this out, bro. He was in Houston. He was the number 1 option. He was in the playoffs. That team he lost to versus Dame was not the greatest team assembled. You're trying to make it seem like Harden only lost to the Golden State Warriors, and that's not true. He was the number 1 on that team, and he lost to a Dame Lillard. That's all I'm making clear here. You're trying to make it seem like he only lost to the Warriors.
Okay, cool. That's not even my point.
You said it matters who he plays, and he played a Dame, and he got eliminated.
Because you brought that up, so I had to defend my man. But that's not even the point that I'm trying to make.
You said he
the
played.
Point that I'm
giving opponents he got eliminated by.
Cool. All right, you got it.
Come on, bro. Your James Harden thing is nuts.
I don't even want to argue James Harden. I don't even argue him. That's not even what I'm here to argue about. I'm here to argue Luka's style of play. And the point that I'm trying to make is when you're talking about a superstar player who is supposed to win a championship, which let me make this very clear.
He wasn't supposed to beat Boston last year.
Come on. Whenever I'm talking about a bona fide superstar player who at the age, if Luka at the age of 25, right? Let's say at age of 30, he has no championships. What would you say his career is? It's a failure. He has higher expectations. You said that about Harden, though.
He's 30 something.
Stop, bro. I'm not even talking about Harden.
But you gotta keep the same. It's like you're moving. I have to bring him up because too much what you're saying is already applicable to one of your guys, and he's underperformed where Luka is, and he's younger though. Luka has already carried the team to the finals. He's already carried the team to the finals.
So he'll be another Allen Iverson. He'll
probably be better than Allen Iverson, bro.
Okay, so okay, cool. Let me still get to my point because you're taking me off track. The point that I'm trying to make is if Luka gets to the age of 30, 35, and he has no championships, will you say his career is a failure? Yes or no?
No. He just wouldn't be in certain conversations.
Okay, then.
Russell Westbrook career in the fade. Russell Westbrook is a top 5 point guard of all time. You can't tell me that's a failed career, bro. He just can't be in the conversations with the champions that are in the top 10, the top 15. He can't be in that conversation.
Okay, and I'm going to stand here and say I do not see that happening for Luka.
What? Him? What do you mean? What?
Winning championships. I do not see that for him.
I mean, I see where he's at now in LA because he's in. I don't know if that was going to be the case for him. I would probably agree with that maybe if he was in Dallas. But LA, bro, and Luka Doncic is going to be a huge destination that people are going to gravitate to. We're not Atlanta. We're not these places that don't get stars every 5 years. We get stars almost 2.5 years. Every 2.5 years to 5 years, we're going to get a generational talent. It just is what it is. Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Shaq. Like these are the guys over the last 2 decades. who've we gotten? And we've gotten chips out of all these duos and players that came through.
Yes.
James Harden, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, all these guys. Like we constantly get that. It's gonna happen for Luka.
You know, I agree. But the problem is Luka is that guy already.
What do you mean he's that
So
guy?
I don't. Luka's the number one option on the Lakers. He's the centerpiece of the franchise. So if
Yeah.
you're bringing somebody else in, they're having to come and play Robin. I see other NBA players wanting to come and play Robin with Luka
Why was Kyrie in Dallas, bro? What do you?
because that was his best option when Kyrie was
And
leaving
you see what
Brooklyn,
happened?
it wasn't. I
But
don't
it's,
know.
hold on. It's Luke, but let's take what you're saying. It's Luka in Dallas. And a star like Kyrie came there and played. Clay even left. Like, hold on. It's too many examples. Clay leaving Golden State to choose that is crazy. Most people was like, he should have stayed in Golden State, but he wanted to go to.
I agree.
And he was in free agency. He was able to walk and choose wherever. That wasn't even a trade. And he chose Dallas. You don't think people are going to choose Lakers and Luka and he's in LA? Like, let's really assess what you're saying here.
Okay.
He's only going to get better.
Okay, so you tell me, give me an example. Tell me what superstar would want to come and play with Luka.
Somebody like a Giannis. I told you, bro. If he loses in the they lose in the first round, somebody like that, they need to blow that up. He ain't. Giannis still is out for another ring.
I'll give you that. Luka, Giannis would be the greatest thing that ever happened to Luka.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm saying where the things have happened, bro. Like somebody like a Kawhi Leonard.
Okay.
Somebody like a Kawhi Leonard ended up in Toronto. I'm just saying that's like, you know what I'm saying? Like Jimmy Butler travels around everywhere. This nigga went to Philly. He was in Miami. This nigga in Golden State now. Kevin Durant runs around everywhere. Like niggas run around to get rings.
Cool. So let's stay here though. Give me another player. You got Giannis. Who else?
Bro, it's so much narratives around. Like, let's take somebody like Jokic, bro. Let's take somebody. If they don't win, bro, the pressure is continuously going to be on Jokic. And I don't see them. Like, they're only losing pivotal pieces every year. KCP 1 year. Bruce Brown. And they just fired their coach. They don't seem like they even got his best interests. Right? I'm giving you scenarios that actually make sense as to why they're number one would possibly be on the ledge or edge of leaving because of what we've seen in recent history. These aren't well-grown dynasties. Steph Curry, I don't see him leaving, right? I'm giving you pieces where I'm like, yo, if they don't get a chip, and based off of their actual coaching staff, it doesn't look like they're trying to maintain their stars. And Luka and Jokic, it's been rumored that them two wanted to play forever. So I can see that happening. Why not? And he don't mind. Look, Jokic don't even care about the limelight. You talking about guys playing a Robin? Like, what you mean? He don't care about that. Hook him up with another Euro international player.
I know, but you're mentioning Luka playing with his success being predicated by playing with two of the top 5 players in the league.
That just happened. That just happened with LeBron James in 2020 with Anthony Davis. Like, right, why are you changing things for people that you don't like? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You got to keep the same energy because
what do the Lakers have to give up to get an Anthony Davis?
When LeBron exit, you know how much money clears our books when LeBron exited LA? We're going to be scavenging to replace LeBron. Basketball reasoning and business reasoning. You know that's an entertainment business first organization. So we gotta keep household names. That's just what we do. So it's really like you're not talking to me. You're not talking to
bro. Whenever Kyrie came to the Mavericks,
yeah,
it was a team friendly. Well, when you're talking about the talent, that Kyrie had. Mm-hmm. It was a very friendly deal because Kyrie didn't have a lot of options. Even Mark Cuban talked about his relationship with Kyrie Irving and how he learned. He was like, man, this guy, he kind of got a bad rap when he was leaving Brooklyn off of the COVID stuff. It wasn't looking that good for Kyrie. So Luka was even lucky.
He was on that all anti-government, all that shit.
Yeah, I'm saying Luka was lucky to have Kyrie on his team in the first place for the price that they were able to pay for him.
But that's Dallas. You can't. I just don't think you're being mindful of the organization he plays for now. We're not them. We bring stars. Dallas don't. So that's why I have so much respect for Dirk Ring. Like the way, bro, his run is remarkable. It's literally one of the greatest runs of all time because he really didn't do it with another Hall of Fame player. His second best player was who? Like, come on. Jason Kidd?
Yeah, Terry, Jason Kidd.
It's like, come on. And Jason Kidd wasn't Jason Kidd at that point.
I know he was the back end of his career.
Yeah,
but the point I'm trying to make is the likelihood. Okay, Bron got another what?
2 years, maybe.
3 years max.
Yeah.
So Luka not going to get his second star. He's not going to get his second star until minimum 3 years. That second star that you're asking for is an anomaly. It's a unicorn. Like, word. When you let me ask you this: would you take someone like Luka over Jason Tatum?
Me personally, I wouldn't. People would though. Yes, people will. People will. Oh, you crazy? Nigga, you crazy. I wouldn't because Jason Tatum is the most easiest superstar to play next to. He allows the second guy to blossom.
I don't want to hear nothing else.
You chose a guy that isn't normal
no,
in the
I'm
league.
going to turn down my IT. I don't want to hear nothing else. There's nothing else even.
SG.
Like that. There's nothing to talk about. What did you just say? Jason Tatum is the what?
He's the easiest superstar to play next to.
All right, let me go turn down my AC. I'll be back. Because I need to take a break.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah. It's too hot in the kitchen for you. So what's up, man? Who up in this game right now? I ain't even really see this.
I don't even want to talk about the game. We're not done. We're not done with this conversation. We still talking.
It say Warriors versus Rockets on the stream, nigga. I'm done talking about this, nigga.
Fuck that. Nah.
We don't have nothing else to say.
No, what
other points do you want to explore, man?
I'm not done. Listen,
wow. What was the original point we was talking about anyway? What was the original?
I'm trying to explain to you Luka's future demise. And the reason why I can explain this better, than anyone else is because I've seen it happen. And his name was James Harden. Just like you said, Luka is very okay, cool. He's better than James Harden. You can have that. I can care less. That's not the point that I'm trying to argue. I'm trying to argue the style of play. His style of play is not conducive with championship basketball. And that is just a fact that no one can dispute. The same way that you said Jason Tatum is the easiest superstar to play against, I would argue and say that an individual like Luka is a hard superstar to play with, especially if you have another star player. Another star player, if you have another star player who's not a big, that's a key difference. Another star player who's not a big, it's going to be difficult for them to want to go and play with Luka. Why would you?
But who? So okay, so the guys I mentioned though, they would actually fit. They would fit though.
Yes, I agree.
And they make sense as to why they could be possible future candidates as to who Laker is going after. They would make sense.
Cool. So basically, what you're telling me is for Luka's career success, he needs to play with one of the two out of the 5 best players in the league. Or honestly, top 15 players all time. That's what he needs.
He didn't. To me, he proved it last year that he don't need to do that. He carried his team in Dallas with Kyrie without, a top 15 player all time or a top 10. People probably don't even have Kyrie top 15 in the league right now. To me, that's crazy. But I know globally, universally, people don't. So he don't need that. He just went up against a better team that he had no chance against. Nobody coming out the West would have beat Boston last year, though. I don't have nobody come out the West right now and beating Boston. Like,
I still don't think that Luka. I still don't think that the Mavs would have beat the Nuggets had they matched up with them.
Why not? The Nuggets.
I still don't think that.
The Nuggets, the Nuggets definitely ain't the same.
No. Last year,
they wasn't the same.
And I'm going to explain to you why. Because Luka would have had to play defense.
He has
He
to
would have
play
had to play
defense in
defense.
all these series, bro. What do you mean?
No.
You
He
act
didn't have
like
to
he
play
goes
defense.
out on when the defense. This ain't football. You out there all the time.
No, but I'm saying the mismatch that he had, the mismatch that he had against the Timberwolves was Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert is literally the worst offensive player I've ever seen. He's not even better than B Dot, whatever the dude's name is on the 520 podcast. He can't even play offense better than him. And then in addition, whenever they played against OKC, that was a young Chet that they was playing against. Chet couldn't really handle, because Luka got a big body, so he couldn't really handle Chet down low. If Nikola Jokic would have saw Luka Doncic, he would have had 80 points per game. 80 points per game.
But that's hypothetical. That's a hypothetical that we.
I'm just telling you a fact.
But in the future doesn't say Jokic is going to be more successful than Luka from here on out. It doesn't say that, bro. Like Luka is in a better position. You know what I mean?
We're gonna see. We're gonna see. Cool, because now I know you got an excuse for him this year, but next year I'll be back with my Luka hate to remind you guys that I was right. I've seen
that
this
ain't an excuse. So do you? I asked you. Did you expect us to go to the championship this year with the first year of us getting Luka? That's not an excuse if you say no. I'm saying no as well.
No,
it's just
but
the reality of what the state of our my Lakers is right now.
No, the problem is that the same issues that I saw Luka have last year against the Celtics is still prominent right now. That is a problem. That he didn't fix anything. He didn't fix anything.
That's fine, bro. He's only 26. Like that's what I'm telling you right now. Like it's like guys. It's like we expect these guys to just be like superstars and champions overnight.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. But there's a level of self-awareness for you to make adjustments to your game. You've seen someone like Ja Morant. If you watch him play basketball let me finish. If you watch someone like Ja Morant play basketball, whenever he first came into the league as in comparison to now, you can see someone who's actually worked on their game holistically.
And you know what? After all that work that them niggas do, they still are inferior players to Luka Doncic. I'm telling you, because the way LeBron affects the game, Luka is second in that spot, bro. When we talking about guys in this era, only other player I could put up there right now, honestly, and Jimmy not in that slot no more, was Jimmy, because I'm talking about playoff ball. Nobody impacts it the way Luka does at a higher rate other than LeBron or Jimmy buckets to me, bro, and it's proven. These guys carry units that don't supposed to be in the championship. They do, year in and year out. It's proven. I don't care what you do 82 games. What are you doing on the biggest stage? Do you care about bro, Ja just got 50 on his head tonight. Nigga, that ain't gonna never happen to a Luka bro, that's crazy. And you talking about, oh my God. And Ja didn't look like nothing. He ain't been looking like nothing these postseason. He didn't play well versus the Mavericks the other night. You talking about inferior guys by margin. Like, come on. You only can, bro, the only other guy that you really can talk higher than Luka right now that's in this era that's appeared to him is Jason Tatum. And I keep telling you that, bro. He's the only guy. He's the only guy.
Anthony Edwards.
I'm not giving you Anthony Edwards, bro. I'm telling you right now, he's not.
Anthony Edwards wasn't sitting on the bench during the Olympics. Anthony Edwards wasn't sitting on the bench during the Olympics.
What does that matter? Derek White and Drew Holiday wasn't either. What's your point? What is your point? Drew Holiday and Derek White wasn't either.
No. But
so how significant is that when you have those players in the same scenario?
He would have found his way off the bench. If he was really like that. Anthony Edwards was a star player on that.
You're all over the place. You're jumping around.
I'm not all over the place.
You're not taking Anthony Edwards over Luka or Jason Tatum.
So why you
like who are you defending right now?
Jason Tatum.
Because Jason Tatum better at everything than Anthony Edwards. Oh no, he's a better playmaker. He can go out 1 through 5. He can shoot the deep ball just as nice. His game in the inside is. What are you talking about?
Anthony Edwards is a better 3-point shooter, and he can drop to the basket better than JT.
No, he can't, bro. He doesn't impact the game like that. No, he can't, bro. No, he can't, because he's more one-dimensional than Jason, bro. He doesn't have a mid-game, and his deep ball is better, but it's not as effective because he only can shoot the deep, bro. He ain't really pulling up from the mid like that. You're not watching it, bro. Bro, you said too many blasphemous things. You think people taking AE over Luka. You now somehow you think AE's over Jason Tatum, which is more foolish.
No.
You just said that.
I said it's more of a. I said no.
More of a what?
For me, it's more of a debate. Anthony
What's
Edwards
more of a debate?
for Jason. I'm trying to explain. Anthony Edwards for Jason Tatum is more of a debate, in my opinion, than Anthony Edwards for Luka. If I'm starting a
neither
franchise,
one of those are a debate.
Okay.
I'm telling you, bro. You have
okay.
biases against people that games that you don't like, bro. And Luka happens to be one of those guys.
Luka got traded. That's cool. Luka got traded.
I know you the nigga that own, and it's crazy.
Luka
you have too many things. Hey, you got an Anthony Edwards jersey, bro. Who jersey you got? But who do you have? Okay, who's the champion right now? Who's the champion right now? You must be a fan of Anthony Edwards too, right?
I am, yeah.
Okay, but you don't got his jersey, so something's not adding
up. What that got to do with anything?
Because I'm walking you down right quick. Who's the champion?
No, you're not.
Who's the champion right now?
This don't have nothing to do with anything I'm saying.
Bro, if we're ranking these people, these things matter.
I know, but okay, but did he have a comparable team? You talking about teams? You talking about
he went to the East. He went to the Western Conference Finals last year. Yes.
So he had a comparable team.
Karl-Anthony Towns is another All-Star.
I wish you would sit here and lie. You tell me he has a comparable
Anthony
team
Edwards?
to the Celtics. Yes.
To go to the championship, yes. He could have went and beat Luka last year. The person you saying actually isn't better than him, but he beat him.
As Jason Tatum.
Yes, bro. Do you think the Minnesota he had Karl-Anthony? This not the same. This not the same Timberwolves this year, bro. It's not the same Timberwolves. Last year is not the same as this year, bro.
Well, the Celtics might have had one of the best teams ever constructed, bro. The Celtics from top
they just had more experience, bro. Those guys been playing with each other longer, bro. That's the main thing as to why they are more poised and put together. They have more chemistry and sinkage.
So who is his Jaylen Brown?
You got Karl-Anthony Towns Karl-Anthony Towns is a bona fide All-Star who still is an All-Star right now. He's going to be almost probably a first or second team All-NBA player this year. You're talking about a guy as if he isn't an All-Star in second in command in Minnesota.
I'm not saying like Cat wasn't like that, but I'm saying as a comparison to the Celtics.
To Jaylen, I don't. Maybe you see Jaylen Brown on a different level. I don't know what you see him as. He's not in it. So does Andre Iguodala. That's a series. Stop it. Tony Parker got a Finals MVP. You got to stop it, bro. They played better in the vacuum. Hold on, bro. They played better on the biggest stage. They played better in the vacuum. They played better in the vacuum. Karl-Anthony Towns, you're talking about him as if he doesn't belong in a conversation or below Jaylen Brown. It's crazy to me, bro. Like, come on. He's a number one pick for a reason. Jaylen Brown development has vastly been a contribution as to who he is today. Karl-Anthony Towns walked into the league, made an instant impact on a franchise. That wasn't Jaylen Brown, bro. And Karl-Anthony Towns is still at an all-star caliber level. Jaylen Brown happens to be in an amazing system, an amazing team. The same way you talking about teams being more comparable or the best built, you got to attribute that same reason as to why Jaylen Brown is who he is today. If you're going to do that for Jason Tatum, you can't boost it for one and not to the other. Like I said, when it's convenient, you want to use it. When it ain't, you be like, oh no. Like, come on.
No. But I want to ask you a question. Who did the Mavericks also reach out to for a trade?
Recently? Or when are you talking about?
No, with Luka. With Luka, who else did they reach out to?
I don't know. Who?
The Timberwolves. The Timberwolves.
Oh, I heard it was only one team. You talking about when we traded AD?
No. They also reached out and they inquired for Anthony Edwards, and they were emphatically told no.
Why didn't they? Well, what happened? Why didn't it happen, bro?
Because they know that someone like Anthony Edwards is more poised.
Minnesota valued him more. You talking about Minnesota?
What are you talking about, bro?
Okay, so let's take that same logic. Is Anthony Davis more valuable than Luka at this point, nigga? You want to use logic that's silly. Now you about to get murdered, nigga. I don't understand what the hell you talking about. Use the same logic. It don't make sense. Come on. You gotta stop this, man. Bro, the playback on this is gonna be a body bag, nigga. I'm telling you right now, bro. You've been making diabolical takes.
My point, no, these are not diabolical takes. These are takes by somebody who's watched basketball for over 20 years. I've yet to see a fat guard win a championship. You tell me that. You tell me when do you seen win a championship?
What
Never.
are you talking about, bro?
Never happened. You can't be a fat guard and win a championship. Tell me about that. No.
I don't understand about fat guard. That don't even make sense. You don't like how his body looks? We've never seen somebody like Jokic win a championship until last year. Until a couple years ago. Jokic is unconventional. We've never seen that.
Until I see it, I can't believe it. Until I see it,
we've never, bro, until we seen Jokic win that chip, we didn't see his frame and who he is win either, bro. That's nobody in the history played like Jokic. Body, none of that. Athleticism diminished, none of that. So the same thing you want to apply to him is vastly the same for Jokic. He had an amazing team built around him, though, that was formidable to championship basketball. That was not Dallas last year. It takes a team, bro. Like, come on.
It does. I'm very much so aware. It takes.
But Dallas, bro, that was a win for Dallas. That was a win for Dallas to even be in the championship last year. They wasn't supposed to be there. They wasn't. Nobody had them slated to go. It takes your number one to play mindless, and he was the best player. He was the best player.
He did great. He did great.
Bro, see that you did,
okay,
but somehow
the point that I'm trying to make is what makes Luka great is his biggest issue is because he's been great so early in his career that he refuses to make any changes to make him better. That's the problem. I'm not saying that Luka can't go get you 40, 10, and 5. Luka will always be able to do that. He's unstoppable on the offensive side of the court. But whenever it comes to winning championships, you cannot be that much of a defensive liability to where people just blow by.
I've already gave you instances, bro. We disagree on it, but I gave you the instances that fit that narrative where it actually worked. Those players were on better teams, though. Stephen Curry was playing next to Klay Thompson that guarded every perimeter player that was on the other side that was the best. There was nobody on Dallas last year that fit that. Huh?
And one of the best shooters, period. Without the ball, he was one of the best.
Dallas didn't have
one of the best off the ball.
You're helping my point. Dallas didn't have neither of those. They didn't have a two guard that can guard the best player on the opposite side of the team. That also was the second best shooter, debatably in history. That was Klay Thompson. And then you also had a defensive player of the year in and year out, in Draymond Green, right. So I'm saying Stephen Curry was a similar player. That was a number one option that was great on the offensive side. That wasn't the best on the defensive side, but his team was better defensively. He had players to fill his gaps. Dallas was not that.
But when you watch the game, and you see someone like Steph Curry, the difference is Steph Curry is one of the best players off ball, period. So the matchups that he has, if you're going to defend Steph Curry, you're going to be physically exhausted because you got to run around the whole entire game. So it's hard to then go on the offensive side of the ball.
That's a downside on him as well.
But someone like Luka is just fat.
And he still led a team to the championship. He just ran up against somebody better, bro.
Cool. It ain't,
that's the same thing. It's the same thing. I'm using the same logic you said as to why Harden was being defeated because he ran up against some of the greatest teams. So if you're gonna keep that type of energy and logic for Harden, use that same logic for Luka.
Cool.
Boston was obviously the greater team. It wasn't even an equal fight on no metric.
Let me ask you this: If 10 years from now, Luka has no championship, who is right and who is wrong?
As far as what, bro?
The points that I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is that because I'll say this. One of the
hypotheticals, bro. I'm only can go to what a guy's done right now. Okay. And all the guys you're bringing up that you think are either superior or teams would take over him, they all have inferior careers and they're inferior players.
Okay.
Anthony Edwards, Ja Morant, whoever you want to mention. Only person I gave you that eclipses him is Jason Tatum. That's the only one. That's it.
Cooked. Okay, so as I was saying, when you take somebody like LeBron James, one of the difficult things for Bron, of eclipsing Jordan was the expectations. Bron coming into the league, the expectations that they had on him are so high. As a compared to someone like Michael Jordan, he was the number 3 pick. You know, like, don't get me wrong, like there were still high but so I say that to say the expectations for Luka at the age of 25 right now, having carried his team to the championship, if he gets to 10 years in his career and won no championships, that is a big disappointment. That is a very big disappointment.
And that conversation is so irrelevant, though. You're trying to have this conversation with estimation of what can happen in 10 years. That really is pointless. Like, you're just like, what's the reason to talk about somebody of what they may or may not do based off of the next 10 years? It really is irrelevant. Like, you're already, that shows me the bias. You're saying it's like preying on somebody's downfall almost. You're saying
no. That's what basketball savants have to do. If you're going to pay someone a contract,
you're not paying them for what they've done. That's what media likes to do. That's what media likes to do.
So why do you pay someone a contract? Are you paying them for what they've done, or are you paying them for what they're going to do in the future? If you give somebody a contract, are you paying them for
mainly off of what they're scheduled to do in the future, bro? It's mainly off of that.
So
but we're not. You're debating an argument right now based off of what you think possibly may or may not happen. I think that's irrelevant.
No, what's likely to happen? What's likely to happen?
What's likely to happen? But, bro, you also use recent history on trying to figure out the trend of what's likely to happen, brother. And you talk about a nigga that carried a team to the finals early on, and what's likely to happen is he probably will do that when he gets actual comparable team around him, and he's in a better organization with the Lakers. That's what's likely to happen because the Lakers don't go 10 years without that. Just look at it. I know it's different. I know it's different because you a fan of the Houston. You niggas ain't sniffed one since the 90s. Oh, yeah. Hey, man, we got it. I know why you don't want to talk about this game because it's a 20 ball on them niggas. That nigga got crushed, boy. Woo! Hey, man, look, dog. You done made it a long night. You done made it a long night that you ain't have to make, man.
Nobody. You ain't cook nobody. What are you talking about? Every point that I made about Luka is a fact. We gonna watch this video in about 3 to 5 years. In about 3 to 5 years, we gonna watch this video.
You said 10 years. I don't care about none of that. All your points are you just trying to literally just hope this nigga don't do something for you to be right, which is crazy.
It's not a hope. It's not a hope. It's what I can see. Whenever I watch him play basketball, I see a deficiency.
We had this conversation, bro.
That he fails to acknowledge.
Right, I understand. Look, we had this conversation prior to him going to the championship, and you didn't even think he can do that, and you tried to hold him on the same pedestal as Harden and being. I said, no, bro, this guy's better than Harden. He impacts the game on a way higher level, and he's proven that by taking teams that don't belong in the finals to the finals. And so you have to bite that. I was right about that already. You didn't foresee that. You wanted to, bro, you were trying to take any type of accomplishments, accolades, or greatness he achieved because he didn't even sniff a ring. He's actually made it to the finals and just ran up against a team that was obviously the better opponent. Your boy, Harden, didn't sniff a ring, never made it across that line. So and I always told you, brother, the brother has been better than that dude vastly. And he's proven it.
Okay. He has.
And the thing is, bro, you talking about your team. You talking about your team.
That's not even that. You made that.
That was an argument in the past where you tried to talk about something in the future, and it didn't come to pass.
We're not talking about that. This whole entire time.
I'm talking about stuff you made points, and it didn't come to pass.
I'm not even trying to argue. I'm not trying to argue Luka being better or worse as a comparison to Harden. That's not even a comparable argument. Luka is better than James Harden. That's fine.
And once upon a time, you didn't believe that, and it wasn't easy. And once upon a time, you did not say that. And this is why it's relevant because arguments in the past.
You can have that, bro. But the argument I'm trying to make, you still not acknowledging. I'm trying to say his style of play, I do not think will warrant him championships. And your response to that is, well, we've seen that with Jokic and we've seen that with Steph Curry. And I don't feel that those are fair comparisons because both of those superstars did not have problems with their conditioning.
Bro, they had other problems. They just different. That's what I keep on making a point to
We
you. For Steph
gonna see.
Curry, it was size and people abusing him. For you, bro, Jokic, athleticism and him not being a great defender has always been something. He's became better over the years, and he's far along in his career as well. He's already year 10 plus.
I do not see Luka.
And the other thing you're not taking
why
into
he
account.
got traded. None of those teams traded those superstars. Like, no matter.
We've
It
already
does
acknowledged that that's the worst trade in history, bro. We've acknowledged that.
No.
This
Let
is
me
a
say
dead horse,
something.
bro. We agree to disagree. This is a dead horse.
Yeah. Cool. If your spouse says that you're a trash human being, that is a fair assessment because that person knows you the best. They're around you all the time. So if your own team is willing to trade you, that says something about your character.
Doesn't matter. It says something. Do you know these organizations get it wrong all the time? Do you know what the Oklahoma City and the LA Clippers trade was when they gave up Paul George and that shit didn't pan out? Nigga, they gave up the fucking house. They gave up the house for Paul George. And niggas is still giving up the house for that nigga. These organizations get it wrong all the time. I don't understand why you harping on that as if like the Dallas has gotten it right so much.
All right,
Come on,
I'm
bro.
about to go eat dinner. We'll talk later.
You need to, brother.
All right. Man. Bye.
Yeah, man.